Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May the 19th, 2021, and we are going to be looking at this article that we see on ChristianHeadlines.com. And this is about Joe Biden. All right, pretty interesting. I don't think Joe Biden in particular, but as we read the title, it says historic, in quotation marks, atheist and secular groups meet with Biden White House officials. So I guess this is supposed to be something that is a historic event, unlike what President Trump did a few years back, where he met with the black church members at the White House. But, I guess we all forgot about that. But what's interesting is that Joe Biden is in office and his White House officials, they don't bring any Christian organizations or black Christian pastors back to the White House. They bring secular and atheist groups. A lot can be said about that, but let's go ahead and get into the article. All right. It says representatives of 6 major atheist and secular organizations met for the first time last week with Biden administration officials as part of a discussion that one participant called historic. Wrong side of history, if I might add. It says the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, including Executive Director Melissa Rogers and Deputy Director Josh Dixon, held a virtual meeting with representatives of 6 groups: American Atheists, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, the American Humanist Association, Center for Inquiry, Ex-Muslims of North America, and Secular Coalition for America. No Christian groups. So keep that in mind. The Secular Coalition for America, which set up the meeting, labeled it historic and productive. We highlighted priorities from our coalition's secular agenda for the Biden-Harris administration and discussed what the administration can do to better uphold the rights of secular Americans, said a press release from the Secular Coalition of America. Okay, so what rights don't secular people have? That's what I want to know. To better uphold the rights of secular Americans, this is a secular nation. So what rights are they having being suppressed? Let's click on what it says, secular agenda. Let me see. Okay, so this is something that I guess is this was an article from 2020 in December. Okay, Atheist Coalitions unveils secular agenda for Biden, urges a repeal of religious liberty protections. Wow. Man, I might have to. Oh, okay. So this is a very short read. Okay, so I'm not gonna read this whole thing. Let's look at the points. They got 11 specific bills in Congress, I guess, that they want to have passed. Okay. I guess these are just some of the points. Number 1, do no harm, which the coalition says will curb religious exemptions under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Do no harm to what? Do no harm act. Harm as in what? To stop parents from making their children get transgender surgeries? Is that what they're talking about? Women's Health Protection Act, which will prohibit state and local governments from passing pro-life laws. Wow. The Women's Health Protection Act, they want to have that passed so that women can continue to get abortions on demand, which, by the way, hurts predominantly black communities. We're not talking about other communities. The communities that are affected the most are black communities with abortion. The Each Woman Act, which would require taxpayer funding of abortion and public health insurance plans. Again, targeting who? The black community. Not only that, it says that it would require taxpayer funding of abortion. So that means that you and I, as taxpayers living in this country, will have to pay money out of our income to fund abortion, whether we like it or not. Each Child Deserves a Family Act, which would prohibit discrimination in foster care and adoption on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity. So, I'm trying to figure out what is the point of them wanting to pass an Each Child Deserves a Family Act. So, you basically want to force a family to pick up a little boy who may identify as a little girl. So therefore, you're going to force that child on a family that will say, well, no, I'd rather have a little boy who looks and acts like a little boy instead of having a little boy who thinks that he's a little girl and acts like a little girl. Sounds like communism to me. Equality Act, which would amend federal laws to prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in public accommodations like facilities, education, federal funding, employment, and housing. Which would amend federal laws to prohibit discrimination based on sexual orientation. That's just really painted with a broad brush right there. Like, seriously, we already got a lot of laws and stuff and acts that protect people even from things like gender identity. So I guess what they're trying to say is that I guess public accommodations, I guess they mean in public restrooms. So I guess they would be able to make bathrooms genderless. That's what it seems like to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to the main article. All right, because we were reading this part here where they said that they highlighted priorities from their coalition's secular agenda. So this is what they've brought forth to the table, to Joe Biden's White House administration. Okay, it says President Biden in February re-established the Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships, saying it would promote partnerships with religious and secular organizations to better serve the people in need. I don't see any religious organizations in this. All of these people are secularists and atheists. So what is he talking about that he's going to promote partnerships with religious and secular organizations? You're not going to have any Christian organizations, any sound biblical Christian organizations, because we don't agree with what secularists promote. We just read some of their secular agenda. There's no Christian that will be on board with any of that. So how are you going to promote a partnership? You can't have your cake and eat it too when it comes to this. Okay, American Atheist President Nick Fish said in a statement he was pleased that the administration takes seriously its obligation to meet the needs of atheists, humanists, and other non-religious Americans. Like the country of America isn't doing that already. I mean, when it comes to transgenderism, us as Christians, we have to adjust our lives and our jobs and the way that we speak. We gotta, right now, if you quote unquote dead name someone, right? If you call Bruce Jenner instead of Caitlyn Jenner, you can get in a lot of hot water for that. Cancel culture, all of that stuff. The secularists are at the top of the totem pole. So I don't know, what are they talking about when they're saying that they need, what needs do they need? What more do they need? It is reassuring to know that the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships shares our commitment to government neutrality, church-state separation, and religious pluralism. And that means including atheists, Fish said. What partnerships? Again, commitment to government neutrality? What do you mean government neutrality? You guys, everything that they've been promoting so far has been about trying to silence religion. And we already know who they're targeting. They're targeting Christians. So everything that they've just been promoting, they've been saying that, look, right here. Promote partnerships with religious and secular organizations to better serve the people in need. That's one point. Let me see. Yeah, when we look at the secular agenda, none of this is in favor of Christians. None of this. Do No Harm Act, Each Woman Act, Every Child Deserves a Family Act, Equality Act. But they just said that they want government neutrality. It sounds kind of one-sided to me. Rogers in a statement said to Religion News, Religion News Service, said the Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships continues to meet with a wide range of faith and community leaders. I want to know who these faith leaders are, quote unquote. We are grateful to hear from diverse Americans and to explore opportunities to work together to serve people in need. Fish said American atheists will continue to advocate for more robust protections for Americans seeking services from religious providers to ensure that no one is turned away from a shelter, an adoption, or foster agency or denied access to any other basic service due to religiously motivated discrimination. So basically, they want to be able to say, hey, Christian, we want to be able to come into your business or your organization and make you do things our way. So therefore, if you don't hire transgenders, we want to make sure that with this quote unquote, let's go back, government neutrality, right? So we want to use the government, who they're saying that they want government neutrality, but they want to force the government to make Christians go against their own policies. That's mind blowing to me. Albert Mohler said, oh yeah, I gotta read this part. Albert Mohler, president of Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, said the organization's secular agenda will have a devastating impact on faith-based organizations. Totally agree. Totally agree. They're talking here about, say, a Christian adoption agency should not be able to operate on Christian convictions, Mohler said on The Briefing podcast. In other words, everybody has to operate on a secular basis. That's basically what I was just saying. Basically. Because this quote-unquote government neutrality is no, we want to use the government to force Christians to do things the way that we feel fit. The way that we think that they should be doing things. Let me see. The Obama administration also held a meeting with the Secular Coalition for America. Now, these are some pictures. Let's look at this. This was back in August 5th, on my birthday, 2018. So, this is President Trump holding a meeting with black church faith leaders. Now we can see you got John Gray here. We got Bishop Bronner here. There's a couple of other people that were there. And Trump brought these people to the White House. Sat down, and we can also see Mrs. King right here. And Trump brought them to the White House. Black faith Christian leaders to the White House. And he was deemed racist. John Gray, being the coward that he is, decided that he wanted to kind of like backpedal and be like, well, President Trump, he invited me, but I don't think I'm going to go back, because he got a lot of backlash for sitting down with the president who invited him to the White House to talk about black issues. And he said, hey, listen, you guys, I want to know, what can I do? He's the president of the United States. The president. He reached out to black faith leaders and asked them, what can he do to help the black community? And majority of these people flaked on him. Now, all of that shucking and jiving that a lot of y'all did for Joe Biden during this election, he didn't even bring any one of you guys back. He didn't bring any black faith leaders to the White House or during the Zoom call. Who did he bring? The humanist groups, the seculars, the secularists, the atheists. And guess what? Majority of those people are white. Now, if you want to talk about, racism in this country and racial injustice and how black people aren't being treated fairly and how we're not well represented, that's something that you can look at right there. So most secularists and atheists are not black; they're white. You want to talk about white supremacy? That's white supremacy for real. He don't even mention black people. How many of these people that was shucking and jiving for Joe Biden, and they were so scared after they had that meeting with Donald Trump, they wanted to cower and back away. Well, I went to the White House because, I just wanted to see, but I ain't going back. I ain't going back up there. He's a racist. How many of those people going back to the White House or do you think will be invited to the White House? 0. But Donald Trump was the racist. Although he brought all of these people to the White House to talk about black issues. Joe Biden didn't. And they're talking about wanting to increase abortion, which affects disproportionately the black community. And they want you as a taxpayer to pay for it. And these are the people that Joe Biden is sitting down with. Can't make this stuff up. As a Christian, I'm telling you guys, you better continue to get into that word. You can't put your faith and trust in any leader, in any party, no government party, no particular group. You better make sure that you are firmly planted in the Word of God. Because I can only imagine what will happen. And this is only year 1. He hasn't even been in office a full year. And they're already pushing this agenda. So don't be surprised within the next 2 or 3 years that this stuff goes through. Are you going to be prepared? Anyway, guys, I don't want to make this video too long. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think that us as Christians, that maybe we need to start establishing partnerships with these secularists and these atheists, and maybe we can somehow kind of coexist? And that these things, that this agenda that these atheists and secularists are putting forth, it's not really anything to be worried about. Or do you happen to believe that as Christians, we just need to be prepared. And the only person that can prepare us for this is Christ. And we got to make sure that we are rooted in his word. But like I said, whatever you guys think, leave in the comment section below. And as always, like this video, rate it, share it, subscribe, and you guys have a blessed day.
Oh yeah.